Hey, Melissa here, and I want to help you feel strong and integrated in your body. So, this is about a postural reset. Often, people come to me with postural problems, and I'll explain why I'm air quoting in a moment, but it often presents in a way where people feel slumpy, permanently slumpy. Like if I turn to the side, you can see I have that shoulder slump, or maybe people will thrust their hips in front of them, and this can lead to a lot of lower back pain. Posture is never a place where you're going to land permanently. It's not about having good or bad posture. It's about having movement choices. That's how I would like to frame this for you. So, for instance, if you're in a place where you feel stuck in a particular position, maybe slumpy, it's going to be really useful to help open up the chest and get your shoulders to roll back. That's innate. That's clearly not rocket science, right? You can see that. If you're here, you want to be here. If you have the kind of posture where the hips are thrust in front of you and that's habitual, you clearly know, oh, I want to be able to bring my hips back behind me. This isn't difficult to realize in a theoretical sense, but it's hard to have that as an option in your movement or in your physical being if you're not used to feeling it. I also don't want you or anyone to struggle to be in a postural place. Remember, there's no such thing as good posture or bad posture. It's about moving from one place to another often so that you have pliable muscles, so that you have joints that are mobile and that you can bust out of any position that you want to. It's also about creating body awareness. Often people have these postural issues because they're habitually in one place. And something we're all dealing with, including myself, is screens. We're always looking down, and we're often looking at a screen here. This isn't going to change anytime soon. This is about us learning how, really, as humans, to adapt this technology that we have in a way that actually benefits us. So I'm going to show you standing work because I want you to feel how your integrated body posture, your ideal way of being, is going to start in your feet. And if you saw the Core Fire video, then you're going to recognize that, oh, in that video, Mel said that your core starts in different places or can show up in different places. I want you to know biomechanically, as a human, when you're moving and standing, when you are standing, your core starts in your feet. So let's start here by feeling the feet. And when we do this, when we wake up the proprioceptive nerves in the bottom of the feet, we start to create options for movement and posture. So if you stand with me, I'm on a mat. I prefer that you be on a surface that is somewhat pliable, a little soft. Think of maybe a surface like this one where it almost feels like you're on sand, on a beautiful beach, of course. I want you to start working through your toes. And if you see my toes, I'm just kind of scrunching them up. I'm elongating, fanning, and then scrunching up as if I could pull that mat in underneath my feet. Again, this is a way to start waking up the proprioceptive nerves in the body. As I do this toe work, I'm also going to show you how I move side to side through my ankles and feet. As we do this, I'm going to explain to you what proprioceptive nerve feedback is. Proprioceptive nerves your brain about body position and space. So for example, without looking at my arm, I can feel that my arm is out at about a 90-degree angle. I can feel that my elbow is straight. That's all happening from proprioception. I don't have to look. I can feel now that I've bent my elbow at about 90 degrees and hear more. The more you move in your body and the more you practice movement, the better your proprioception. In our feet, proprioception is key. And most of those nerves are in our feet because they help our brain to orient where our body is in space. And obviously, balance is a big part of that. So now that we've gone in and out and we've done some toe scrunching, starting to play with a calf lift. So if I turn to the side, I'm starting to take up the heels and come down. It's not always so smooth. Some days I do this and I stumble a little bit. Don't worry about it. Do your best. And in fact, if you prefer, you can go 1 foot at a time. Easy. But once you feel like you can, you want to get those toes to elongate in front of you and push down into the ground, almost as if mechanically being able to then pull your body up in space. This is my connection to the earth. I haven't even talked about your shoulders or your back, but I bet you're not here trying to make this happen. Doing the work from the bottom is going to start to show you what is a more advantageous position of your upper back and body to help you find the posture you want. Yes. Hey, can you go into a forward fold with me? We're going to lift up through the heels, and then we're going to drop down. Oh, yeah. So now we're stretching the back line. Don't be afraid to drop through the head. If you have glasses like I do, you might try positioning your face so they don't fall off. Don't do that. Drop through your head. Let the weight of your skull pull you along this back line here. And then as you come up, push into your feet. Be conscious of your feet and start to stack the spine. You're probably familiar with this kind of work from yoga. And if not, you'll definitely see it in those classes. So this is excellent information for you to have, not just for a postural reset in your life, but so you know how to move in a yoga class as well. We're going to do this twice more. I'm going to elongate my toes. I'm not scrunching. I want to elongate and then lift my heels. Oof. See that? Excellent proprioception and control. I was able to catch myself. And then you're going to fall into your forward fold. Notice that my butt's going really far back. My heels are here. My butt's like past my heels. That's going to give me a really nice pull through my hamstrings. And if you'd like to, you can even bend your knees and pedal the legs out one at a time, or even both. This is going to continue to wake up the legs as we're doing this work with the feet. Further cementing that core connection from the bottom of the feet up through the legs and indeed into your torso. Let the head be the last thing that comes up and start to feel how you're stacking your skull on your spine. Let's do it one more time. Remember, don't scrunch the toes. See if you can elongate, press down, and that's what's going to help you to come up. Can you feel how there's an instinctual stillness that comes up when you're doing that kind of balance practice? It's very hard to be free-flowy like advanced. You know, the better you get at this and the more advanced you get, you can really kind of move more freely on your heels, or I should say on your toes while your heels are up. But when we're doing something that's so focused, you're going to notice that your breath is also going to change. And you might even instinctually pull in the abdominal wall, and that's where this core connection to the feet becomes very clear. So try that with me. Toe press, pull in through the abdominal wall, exhale, and see what happens when you exhale to come up. Nice. Let's go for that last forward fold. Let the head be a part of it. Let your skull pull you through the back line. Oh, that feels really good. You can try nodding the skull or shaking through the head, or even very lightly placing your hands around your skull and pulling. And if you can take 2 more breaths with me here, do so. Ah, beautiful. And then you can start to slowly stack the spine, but I'm pressing through my feet as I do this. And then I'm going to stack my vertebrae in such a way that I can feel my pelvis underneath me. I can feel my ribs line up with my pelvis. They're right over the pelvis here, shoulders over the ribs, and then the skull is the last thing to stack on, and glasses if you have them. Notice that I'm in a very aligned position here, and I'm even doing a little bit of what we call dead bug or hollow body. I'm tilting my pelvis slightly, and I'm not telling you that this is how I want you to stand all the time. This is a feeling practice. And in fact, I want you to look at my back for a moment. When I release this position and my pelvis goes into a more natural state, the curve of my lower back and my spine becomes more evident. See that? So I don't need you to try to live here all the time. That's not great for breathing, eating, or other forms of life. But I do want you to feel what it's like to contract through your abdominal wall, lengthen the spine behind you, and then release. Let's do that twice more. I'm going to tuck under. I'll even take my ribs back softly. Very dead bug. Refer to that core video. And then I release. Your spine has natural curves. How curvy and to what degree is different for everyone. That's the idiosyncratic nature of bodies. So let yourself have those curves, but also know that you can manipulate them. So I'm going to do this once more. I'm going to tuck my pelvis. I'm going to very slowly draw my ribs back. And I'm going to hold this for a little longer. And in this spine elongation, I am going to also reach up through my arms. And I can do 2 things at once here. I can reach up with the arms, getting some really nice sky energy, which is very important, by the way, if you have been in a screen for a long time, at a computer or on your phone or on a tablet. I want you to be able to stabilize your core and reach up through the arms and even look up at the ceiling or the sky and recognize that, whoa, I have a whole external environment here that maybe I forgot about for a couple of hours. And then exhale, let it go. Okay, no more dead bug. Release, fully release. How's your posture now? How's your body awareness now? Can you feel the difference? I want you to do that reaching up to the sky again, but don't do anything with your spine. I'm going to ask you to lift up through your chin as well. What we're starting to do is use muscles in your back. And I'm just going to keep the language there. Very simple. Using back muscles to help pick up the arms and also tilt the skull back. This is actually spinal extension. Often we find ourselves in a lot of flexion and we have difficulty breaking out of it. And oftentimes people will even feel like they're stuck here with that spinal flexion, but they're trying to get their shoulders back. But that's not really going to work unless you can start to also work the muscles between your shoulder blades and around your upper back. And this move right here helps you to do that. So if you are familiar with up dog or cobra in yoga classes, this is going to feel familiar to you here. But I like this because you get to remain in the standing position, rooted to the earth, and you get to reach up and get all that beautiful sky energy. But now we really want to work those upper back muscles. Why? Because once you change the tonality of the muscles in your upper back, you no longer really have to try to have good posture. Those muscles are going to contract naturally and hold you up, almost like corset strings that pull you into the right position, the position that feels right for you. So, watch this. I'm going to take my hands behind my head. My wrists are flat, so I'm not flexing. And my elbows are out to the side. If you find this to be really difficult or uncomfortable, you don't have to go that far back. You can simply put your fingertips by your temples. Look for those flexions in the wrist, because that can let you know there may be some work to do higher up your kinetic chain around your shoulder. Okay, keep the elbows open. Drop the shoulders down. I don't need you here. And I'm going to show you from the front and from the side. I'm going to slightly bend my knees and just draw back through my tail, keeping the elbows open. You might drop. Don't do that. You're going to help those upper back muscles quite a bit by keeping those elbows open. And then use your hips to come up again. Let me show you from the side. This is known as a hip hinge. So whenever I am going to draw back through my hips, slight bend in the knees, this is when I get more of that hamstring pull-in feedback, like I did in the forward fold. But now, instead of going into a full drop, I'm loading the muscles of my back. It means that they have to work harder here for me now. And that's what I want. That's going to change my posture over time. So keep the elbows open, chest open, and you can even start to feel some of your dead bug if you feel that's helpful to you. And then soften those knees. Don't keep the ramrod straight. We want to give the pelvis really movement. And the way to do that is keeping the knees soft. Squeeze the shoulders together here if you can. And notice that my chin didn't move. I didn't, take it too far forward or drop it. Take a couple of breaths. You might feel your back a little bit. That's okay. And then use your hips. Nice. That's power. You're going to find a lot of power in the pelvis. Let's do it again. Breathe. Drop your shoulders. I don't need them coming up to your ears as you do this. That's not going to be helpful. Drop them down. Relax through the jaw. Keep the head centered. Forehead, nose, chin in the same plane. And move through the hips. Take the tail far back. I want you to feel stretch in your back line. And I want you to feel the muscles working for you here. Hamstrings. Squeeze your shoulder blades together if you can without having them come up to the neck or ears. Take another breath. And then we're going to use the pelvis to come up. Yes. Beautiful. And then you can reach up again. Maybe roll through the shoulders and feel what that has done for you now. That might have put you in a completely different space. To break that down anatomically, instead of being really frontist in our work, through our eyes, looking at a screen, looking at a tablet, even reading a book, now you start to engage the back line completely differently. Not only will this set you up for a postural shift, if that's something you desire, it's also going to set you up for alignment in yoga classes, other workout classes, or if you like to lift weights like I do, deadlifting, classic deadlifting mechanics. So please play with this often. Even if you're seated in your chair at work, I want you to maybe set your timer every hour to just work on this. You can be seated and just work on extending through the upper back and loading the back muscle with the weights of the arms. That'll be enough for now. Add the chin if you feel comfortable. Can't help but feel taller here. And we all want to feel tall. So thank you for working with me. And I look forward to more next time. Take care.